Hello and welcome to VEDC 365. It's been a year since lockdown. Well, technically it's been a year and 4 days since the first national lockdown started, but it's been exactly 365 days since I started my vlog every day during the coronavirus lockdown videos. I did those for exactly 100 days in a row, and then I stopped because they were becoming exhausting. I was running out of ideas, and between that, my central ambulance work, and doing anything else in my day, it became unfeasible to continue. So I felt 100 was a good number to stop at, and I stopped there. It's been 265 days since my last video about lockdown, and here's what's happened in that time. Well, we're still in a lockdown. Apparently it's our third one, although I'm not 100% sure when the second one actually ended. I know when the first one ended, and then there was like a month gap, and then we went straight back into a lockdown again. I think the reason why I'm not sure where the second one ended and the third one began is because when we split into kind of regional lockdowns, Newcastle and North East was still relatively strict, so it didn't really seem like a difference for us. It might have done for other people. Also, I'm relatively privileged in that the disruptions to my life have been relatively minimal. When I stopped working, when I was furloughed, about a month later I was deployed into hospital, so I was working with St. John, and then I stopped doing that the second I became employed again. So it's been fairly consistent for me the entire time. Which leads me to the next change that's happened in the last 265 days. I returned to my job at the Students' Union at Newcastle. I also returned to studies, so I'm a student again, which is great. I'm doing my MA in film, which I absolutely love. I had a mixed experience with my undergrad. I was so ill a lot of the time with my mental health. I was never really able to enjoy my undergraduate degree. I was struggling to cope a lot of the time. I didn't feel like a functional student, and that kind of soured the whole experience for me. Even though my student union life was fantastic, my studies never really with that positive experience for me. So I'm really glad that that's not been the case in my postgrad. I'm enjoying being able to take part in class and be an active member of discussions and understand things. And the coursework I've got back has been quite good. 2 of the last 3 have been 70 and 90 respectively. So that's great. I'm enjoying feeling like an actual functional student in academia. It's also very validating because when you have poor mental health and you're studying, and there's mental illness has a habit of making you think like it's your fault, and you've always got that kind of negative dark thoughts in your head about maybe I'm just not that good a person at being a student and learning. Maybe me as a person has this failure, but no, the fact that that's not carried over to my postgrad proves to me, and this proof is very, very kind of validating, that I have it in me to be an academic and to study and produce good academic quality of work. And it was just and purely my mental health that was holding me back in my undergrad. So that's, great. And I'm glad I'm in this healthier place now that I wasn't, 2 years ago. Over that being said, I am having a slight crisis with my script writing module. I took it to improve my storytelling, but I'm kind of struggling to think of an idea to write a story on. That's kind of me anyway. Once I have an idea, I can write loads quickly, but the idea generation has always been difficult for me. I think I'm maybe a better adaptive writer, taking other work and adapting it into a different medium or expanding on it. But hopefully, something will click in my mind. I've also moved. This is actually the flat I used to live in 2016 to 2017, which is when I first got River. I got River the day I moved into this flat. Speaking of River, we can't, of course, forget his daily update. When I did these vlogs every day, part of it was a daily update from River. Nothing has really changed for him, but his update nonetheless. I think this is a flat I've enjoyed living in the most, at least out of the ones where I've had to live on my own. I do enjoy living with other people more, so we'll discount those and just talk about where I've lived on my own. And out of all of those, definitely like this. It's very roomy. The only downside being it's comparatively lonely for the obvious reasons, but it doesn't mean I can keep my green screen up all the time. You remember my old flat? It was right next up to my chair, so I couldn't actually move my chair without moving the green screen. So I had to kind of gymnastic my way around. And the table, because I enjoy having a big table, that kind of took up a lot of the room space, and I had to squeeze past to get to the kitchen. It was a mess. The whole thing was a mess. So I'm glad I'm living here again, and I'm probably gonna end up living here maybe possibly 2 years, so this year and next year, which will be the longest place I've lived in the same place, not counting when I was a child living in my parents' house. I'm also still doing central ambulance, but rather than volunteering in hospitals, I'm helping with the vaccination program. So I did a single vaccination shift where I got to vaccinate a whole bunch of people, which I absolutely love doing. And even better, I also got myself vaccinated. I've had both my shots. in that time. So in theory, I'm fully vaccinated and have this protection against the coronavirus, which is great. And hopefully that increases and more people will be in a similar situation that I'm at. Primarily, I'm also volunteering as a manager for the other volunteers who are helping to vaccinate. So I'm kind of helping with logistics and the organization, and helping people who are joining St. John first time to be vaccinated, getting them set up and getting them deployed and getting them shifts. So that's obviously a whole bunch of fun. And I like, basically helping people volunteer in this important scheme. So I'm definitely enjoying that and definitely enjoying the efforts that our district is doing to vaccinate people. So if you're in South Tyneside in that area and you've signed up to volunteer with St. John for the vaccination project, you'll probably end up actually being a member of my unit. So if you see my name, you know that's me. Here's a face. Speaking of my face, this is how I've changed in the last 265 days. So this is what I looked like the last time I did this vlog, and my hair has grown out quite a bit. I've not had this haircut since August 2019. So this is what my hair looks like after 20 months of not cutting it. It's the first time I've ever had my hair anywhere this long. Usually I cut it every half year, and I don't, and no more than that. I've cut it more frequently, but I've never cut it less frequently than half a year. So this is an interesting new experience, having longer hair. I'm a really impatient person, so I guess the biggest issue is having to deal with the extra maintenance of more hair density. Most I do is I brush it after a shower to somewhat convince it to stay on this side of my head and not fall to the front side of my face, which isn't working entirely well. So I'm going to have to start investing in headbands now. Sometimes I also tie it up as well, especially after I shower, because I don't like the feeling of wet hair on my neck. But apart from that, and apart from the fact that it occasionally falls in front of my face, and I also shed a lot more, and I also can't wear hats as easily, which is also an annoying side effect I didn't realize. But apart from that, I mean, it's going well. We're going to continue seeing what happens. I've always wanted to have long hair, just out of curiosity, to see what it would look like and how it would feel on me, and what I would look like with it on. So I've come this far. I've come 20 months without cutting. I might as well see what happens further along. And yeah, that's where we are after 365 days of lockdown. People are being a bit more optimistic with vaccinations that we'll be out of lockdown in the next few months, to the point where we won't have to come back again. People have been optimistic before. I've kind of settled with just seeing how things happen as they happen. I do hope that September things will be more settled in a positive way, primarily because I want to be able to actually do student activities on campus rather than virtually, and actually have a students' union which is a bit more active. But to be honest, it's probably going to end up being a couple of years before things really do normalize, and some things will never really normalize. Some people have said on the internet that they hope this kind of experience will normalize the concept of wearing masks when you're ill, and where other countries already did. That'd be a nice thought, but as I've clearly seen in my various roles and just being out and about, people are incapable of obeying the simplest of instructions when it comes to wearing a mask, and having it for any duration of time. So I'm not sure that's really gonna happen, as nice as it sounds. But yeah, that's my update 365 days later. I am currently more active on my review channel at Squishy Vision, where I'm currently talking about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Squishy Vision Games, where I'm live streaming my Red Dead Online gameplay. And if you go to my film channel, Albus Weir Films, you can see the short stuff I'm making for my degree. But yeah, that's me, and I'll see you next time.